Hello and welcome to your review for Eve of the Daleks, the 2021 Doctor Who New Year's Day special. Here is my review. Okay, so jumping straight to the point. I enjoyed this episode for what it was. The characters were very well thought out. I do think the episode had some sort of, I suppose, I felt underwhelmed in places. Like, it acted, I think, as more of a filler episode than an actual special as such, and it seems to look like it was done on some sort of low budget. Saying that, I did enjoy the episode, and I liked the idea and the plot and the sort of idea behind the whole episode and what it does for the characters involved. And how it resolves the whole Flux storyline in Series 13, which I think ties it up quite nicely. First of all, let's talk about the episode as a whole, then we'll talk about the characters, and then we'll talk about my overall review and thoughts on the episode going forward. So, to talk about how it cleared up the Flux storyline in Series 13, we know that the time loop itself that the episode kind of revolved around was created by the Doctor and the TARDIS having sort of regenerated itself back into what it was before. The angels took it over and all this, and we also know that the time loop was created because of the events of what happened with the Flux, and the fact that when the Flux opened, it brought kind of all the enemies together to try and destroy the Doctor, and unfortunately Flux ended up wiping out half the Dalek fleet as well as the Cyber fleet and all this. So then the Daleks are back in this special to kind of get revenge on the Doctor for what they did, for what she did to that fleet, which I think was kind of, it was a basic storyline but worked fairly well. I liked that with the time loop being involved, it was every time they were exterminated, they were brought back every few, so it could be like 5 to midnight, and then it'd be like 53, or like 3 minutes to midnight and 2 minutes to midnight, so that every time they come back there's like 2 seconds or 1 second knocked off midnight. And then I liked it when one of the characters, I can't remember the name, you know, there was a certain element of, oh my god, this character is going to die, and all this. So, yeah, good storyline, good plot. I enjoyed it for what it was. In terms of characters, the Doctor, I don't think gets too much to do. Well, obviously, okay, the Doctor's the main character of the episode and what have you. The whole show is basically based around this character from Gallifrey. However, the Doctor, I feel, kind of takes a little bit of a step back in terms of sort of almost kind of distancing themselves from kind of the bigger question, or the bigger picture rather. But saying that the performance was still good. However, I think Jodie's performance as the Doctor in this episode could have been a lot better. As there was, I think, some points in the episode where I kind of went, really? And that kind of moves us on to sort of the other characters in the episode. I think for comedic value, Aisling B kind of carried the comedic side of it with a little bit of, I don't know, one-liners that helped a little bit, and then we had another character who kind of was there just as a supportive character to the character that Aisling B was playing, and he kind of got a little bit of dialogue that kind of felt clunky in places, but worked. And now this kind of brings us on to Yaz's character and what we kind of suspected all along. It was hinted at in series 12 and kind of hinted at a little bit more in series 13, and then kind of coming to an overall resolution. It is confirmed that Yaz has feelings for the Doctor, and there's this nice scene in the episode in which Dan, John Bishop's character, and Yaz are kind of standing in the warehouse, and Dan kind of says to Yaz that you still haven't told her, have you? And like, no, she doesn't. I don't know how to. How will she react? Now that's a nice moment. I'm glad that they included it in the episode, but I don't want it to be a relationship like they had with Ten and Rose in series 2 of Doctor Who back in 2007 or 8. So I don't mean I don't want them to have a relationship, because obviously, yeah, it's been confirmed that Yaz has feelings for the Doctor, and you know, when I say I don't want Yaz and the Doctor to have a relationship like Ten and Rose, I don't mean like a fully. I want them to have a relationship, but not a fully fledged relationship. Like, you know, we know that with Ten and Rose's relationship in past series, that it didn't end so well. For Rose ended up dying, going back to Bad Wolf, and then the Doctor regenerated, and a whole new era started. However, whether it's too late or not to include this kind of late into Jodie's tenure as the Doctor, I don't know how it'll play out. You can kind of guess from where it's going. Certainly I got an idea. But yeah, the relationship is confirmed. It's look, as long as the relationship kind of, I suppose, strengthens the overall character development of Yaz, given that we kind of, Yaz has been sidelined a lot in the particularly in series 11. You know, hopefully this relationship between the Doctor and Yaz gives them that sort of, I don't know, not morale boost, but sort of the push to allow Yaz, the character of Yaz, to develop further, as I know that her character has a lot of potential to kind of excel in the next two series, the next two specials, that are coming on board in spring, and then obviously in the centenary special when BBC celebrate 100 years. Now, looking to Dan, Dan didn't really have too much to do this episode. Like, he was just kind of an onlooker per se. He still doesn't have a house, so because you know, in Flux, Dan's house was miniaturized after the invasion of the Centaurans in episode 1. So it still doesn't have a home to go to. So hopefully he can have more to do in the next special. Yeah. For a special of this nature, for a special called Eve of the Daleks specifically, I was expecting a lot more of this episode, to be honest. You know, 3 Daleks exterminating people 8 times over, just so that they can blow up the warehouse and everything goes back to normal. You know, it may not be my favourite special, but it tides me over for the hour that was in it. Look, I enjoyed the episode. Wasn't the strongest of specials before. I preferred Resolution. Let me get it right. No. I preferred Revolution, the Daleks, and Resolution. More so Revolution than this one. But you know, that's just my thoughts on it. I'll have a more detailed sort of analysis of this episode once I've watched it again. And then looking towards the next special, the Legend of the Sea Devils. I can't wait for that episode. The Sea Devils have been a monster that have been that people have wanted since ever since maybe series 9 or something. So it'll be quite interesting as to how that's incorporated into the final specials to come in Easter and the Centenary. And please God, give Dan more to do in this episode. I like Dan for who he is, but he needs more to do. This has been my review for